Hello, this is Ben Moore, Finance Manager for the Office of Community Assistance, and this video will help walk you through using the budget resource guides that OCA has provided as part of the packet for application of the 2021 CSBG grant. In an effort to assist grantees in the preparation of the required GATA budget template spreadsheet, OCA has developed some resource documents to help guide you through the process. There are three primary resources that have been provided. One is a step-by-step budget submission instructions that helps walk you through all the processes. There is a cost grid and a budget line-by-line requirements document. All three are combined into one document that is the 2021 CSBG budget submission instructions, and it was attached to the email that was distributed by OCA in relation to this webinar. So as an overview of each guide, the step-by-step budget instructions, it clearly outlines all the steps required to complete your budget, and hopefully will be a useful guide in walking you through getting everything completed you need to submit the budget. There is also what we call a cost grid, and it is a document that provides a listing of all many of the common costs that we see budgeted for in the CSBG grant, and it directs you to what line item they should be budgeted. So if you have a cost that you're not quite sure where to budget, you can look on this cost grid and hopefully find the cost that you're looking for, and it will guide you as to what budget line item or line items that cost should be budgeted in. The final document is a budget line-by-line requirement. So what this document does is it clearly outlines the minimum requirements necessary to accurately complete each of the tabs in the GATA budget spreadsheet. It walks you through how to complete the cost grid at the top and the narrative and the minimum requirements for each of those. And now I'd like to go through, take a walk through those documents just to show you what they look like. So the budget submission instructions, again, it has some general budget guidelines, talks about the allocation, how to utilize the formulas on all the budget tabs. It gives a brief description of what we expect in the narrative section. Make sure that you complete your indirect cost election. And there are some CSBG specific budget completion instructions that walks you through the order in which to fill out the budget tabs. You need to fill out this Section A summary tab, which includes a budget checker, and many of these items were covered in the budget overview, but this document we're hoping will be helpful in just walking you through each of the steps necessary. It also gives an overview of each of the broad budget categories, the program support, which are the line 100 items, the client assistance, which are in the 200 budget line item category, and then indirect costs. Those are the different categories of client assistance: direct, indirect, and scholarships. It also walks you through the 300 category of line items, which are the administrative costs, what category or what budget line items are in there, discusses the indirect costs a little bit. And again, there are separate videos on each of these categories in this series. Some step-by-step instructions on calculating the indirect tab, how to utilize the special category of TNTA funding that was provided, and it provides an overall review of what you need to do to get your budget submitted properly, and the due date, and make sure that you've got the documents, all the documents necessary when you upload your budget packet. And the cost grid, like I mentioned, it provides a listing of the common costs and in what line item they should be budgeted. So let's take a look at that document. So again, these are all included in the 2021 CSBG budget submission instructions. We included them all together so that you would have them all handy if, when you go to prepare your budget. So again, this 2021 CSBG cost grid document we thought would be helpful because it provides a listing of many of the common costs. You can look through this document and see the budget categories and line items that it should be charged to. Now you will notice that the costs list both lines under, or the budget lines under both program support and admin. If they are listed both in the program support, which is the blue, and the green, the admin category, it means that there is a possibility that they could be charged to each one, and it is really based on the staff and or activity associated with the cost. If they are really directly client related, they would more likely be eligible to be charged under the 100 series program support. If they are more administrative or agency-wide in nature and don't deal directly with customers, they would likely be in the administrative category, which is the corresponding 300 series budget line item compared to the 100 series. So as you can see, many of these staff costs here are eligible to be, are required to be paid out of the admin category. There is also an indirect column here, and what we've done is if a cost could reasonably be included in the indirect cost pool, we included it here. Now you will see this, there's a little asterisk here, and I'm going to go down and show you that that asterisk refers to the fact that items can only be budgeted as part of the indirect cost pool if they are truly used by all programs and cannot be easily broken down and allocated to each program. So make sure that any costs that you plan on putting in your indirect cost pool are really of a universal nature to your agency and can't easily be broken down. So this document is, we tried to categorize it in general groups of costs so that hopefully you can see it's broken down by staff costs, space costs, insurance costs, some travel and training costs, vehicle cost, equipment and supplies, and then other costs. And at the bottom, we do have board expenses and where those should be charged, and the indirect cost, again, the indirect cost comment, and then there is some information about client assistance. And at the bottom of this document, we have some costs that are unallowable in this grant. So I'm hoping that this document will be useful to you. If you have a cost that you want to confirm that you're budgeting it in the right budget line item, you can refer to this document. And the final document is the budget line-by-line requirements. Again, that clearly outlines the minimum requirements necessary to accurately complete each of the tabs in the GATA budget spreadsheet. So let's take a look at that document. Again, it is attached to this one budget submission instruction document. This document will hopefully help you step through each tab of the budget spreadsheet. We do have it organized so that all the personnel costs are lumped in this one section, so it includes both the program support and the administration budget line items that deal with personnel. So again, it walks you through what items must be charged to administration of this category, the minimum requirements for the cost grid on that tab. Some of them, if necessary or if appropriate, have an example. And then there is a section for each budget tab for the minimum requirements for the narrative section. We try to outline what we're expecting when we review the budget. So if you follow this guide, you hopefully should minimize the requirement for any corrections. And then at the bottom of each section, there is the general items to include in this budget category. So just understand that the very top section is the items that need or must be charged to the administration administration budget line item of that category. So in this case, it would be 301. The bottom of this section describes in general what could be budgeted in that category, not specifically admin or program support. Or if there is something that is commonly budgeted in this section by in error, we might put that here. Like here for personnel, it says do not include contractual staff. Those need to go on the contractual line items 106 and 306. So again, this document walks through each tab. Here's some information on the fringe. It is organized in the same way. The items that must be included in admin, the minimum requirements for the cost grid, and the minimum requirements for the narrative section. So we're hopeful that this document, I'll just scroll down here so as you can see, it has each budget category or budget tab that is on the spreadsheet. We're hoping that is useful. So we encourage you to use this and all the, again, the indirect cost, client assistance is, again, broken down by category. And in this year's budget, as I think we've mentioned in other videos, each grantee did get $7,500 in discretionary funds, so we outlined how to budget for those as well. So that concludes the video on utilizing the resource documents we've provided to help you submit the budget. Again, there are, we encourage you to utilize these guides to help you submit an accurate budget, and we're hoping it can help you avoid unnecessary delays resulting from the need for you to resubmit your budget for corrections. So I think it's worth the time to go through these documents and double check that you've provided the information in the manner that we're expecting. My suggestion is that you utilize the cost grid while completing the budget initially so that you ensure that you've budgeted each cost that you're planning on including in the budget in the right tab, and then go through the line-by-line requirements of each of your tabs just to make sure that what you've entered in there meets our minimum requirements. So hopefully this video was helpful. We do have separate videos available on each of the budget tabs. Many of them, most of them utilize that line-by-line spreadsheet information or line-by-line document information to help guide you through there. So we encourage you to watch those if you're interested, and I thank you for watching.